Hello friends, welcome to Rookery Bay Reserve. My name is Janine Windsor and I'm going to be hosting your upcoming field trip here at Rookery Bay. Along with some fellow staff and volunteers, we're going to walk through some labs and introduce you to the things you'll be learning and discovering at Rookery Bay Reserve. All right, so come on into the plankton lab and we'll see what you guys are going to be looking at and actually comparing while you're in this classroom. So here we have some of the materials you're going to be using in the plankton lab. We got a couple of microscopes, LED dissecting microscopes, and we've got some identification sheets. So basically we're going to have two samples and you'll be comparing sample A with sample B to see the differences in diversity based on time of day or perhaps time at location, change in location. So we'll do some graphing and we'll kind of interpret the data and we'll see what we get and make some comparisons. All right guys, we're outside for our crab lab, and in this portion of the field trip you're going to actually be looking at 4 different crabs, and we're going to go through all their characteristic traits. So eyes, mouth parts, we're going to be counting legs, looking at their claws, and trying to identify their possible habitat based on these adaptations and where they, what they might eat and where they fit in the estuary. So now we're here at the Oyster Lab, and it's right on Henderson Creek. You guys will actually have a chance to go out onto our floating dock and look at the estuary, but we're also going to be discussing oysters, and they're called keystone species because they're so important, guys. So without them, basically other organisms would either cease to exist or they'd be very ill and kind of without a cause, if you will. So we're going to talk about some restoration efforts that are going on in Naples to restore oysters in their area. We're also going to talk about the water quality that oysters help us out with. They clean our water, and we're also going to talk about the relationships that oysters form with tons of organisms and how those are important to their survival. So we're out on our floating dock on Henderson Creek, and this is a actual freshwater source for the estuary, and you guys will have a chance to come out here and take a look around and see if you can find any oysters or maybe some other surprises. All right, so for the last lab, you guys are actually going to be playing some interactive games. It's called our Survivors Lab, and I promise you it's so much fun, and it's going to kind of give you a hands-on lesson for natives and non-natives in the competition that takes place, as well as some limiting factors that affect the everyday life for organisms in our estuary and what can make it so difficult to survive.